Music artists that are on the brink of breaking into this music industry, shall I say, having a significant buzz, want to know when's the right time to actually get a publishing deal. And a lot of you all want to know if this deal will make sense or not for where you are in your careers. Here's the thing, the potential loss of revenue can be a bit of concern to your operation, but is it really a loss of revenue or is it just that advance? Ultimately, you feel like, okay, well, I don't want to make a wrong move and then have that potential regret. And I understand that. We're just trying to control and maximize your musical's ultimate value, output, and reach into the musical world, right? Because we got a time to do this and we got a time when we won't be doing this, and we want to maximize all of that. So we're going to talk about this and the key points where you want to get this publishing deal coming up right here on the Music Money Makeover Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Money Makeover Show. My name is Casey Graham, and you know I'm an advocate of independent self-published artists. But if there was ever a time to get into a music publishing deal, these 4 points would probably be when you would want to do it. All right, check it out. All right, so here's point number 1 in which you would probably want to get a publisher: exploitation or collection in a specific territory. Now, as a music artist, if you notice your music gaining significant traction in a particular region, it may be time to consider getting a music publisher. This crucial step can enhance your control over your music rights in that region and ensure that they are exploited and collected effectively. This strategy not only provides a solution to the external problem of effective rights management, but also addresses the internal fear of underutilizing your music's potential. Furthermore, it aligns with the philosophical belief that your music deserves proper recognition and compensation. So let me talk about the main specific territories. To be honest with you, the Americas, South America, Canada, Central America, South America, the European nations, we all speak to each other. Even Africa too, we all speak, okay? But in the areas where you would want to have a publisher doing some collections for you would be in an instance if you write music for like Bollywood films or for that Indian scene over there, or if you write music for K-pop or any Asian music and you don't speak the language, you would want to have a publisher there that speaks English and the native language or the native tongue there to collect your works or your money for you, your royalties for you. So that would be Japan, Korea, China, that will also be India, possibly Russia, and countries like that. Well, Africa doesn't really have much infrastructure set up everywhere yet. In some territories they do, but not all. So you would want to at least look in those main areas if you plan on doing work in those areas. Now, I'm going to tell you this, with the 60-day record label course, I got you covered if you're not doing work in those areas and stuff is coming from like streaming and online sales. I got your international royalties taken care of in the 60-day record label course. I'll talk about it in a minute. Now, writing more songs than you release. If you find yourself writing more songs than you can release, a music publisher can play a pivotal role. Publishers have the necessary networks and resources to promote these additional songs to other artists, films, commercials, and more. Thus, even your unreleased music gets its fair share of exposure. In doing so, a music publisher can help ensure that no song you create goes to waste, thereby addressing both the external issue of waste and the internal concern of your unreleased music being a wasted effort. This also upholds the philosophical belief that every piece of art deserves its chance to shine. Disclaimer: though this is very true, and this is what publishers do, there has been a growing concern with publishers not really shopping the works of the artists or the writers who write them. Writers have had to move to the position of shopping their works directly to the artists themselves. And a lot of you all who write know that this is true. But if you ever get in a position where you are a hot enough writer, your publisher will slang your records for you. So if you're writing more songs than you actually release and you're hot enough, I should probably put that in the title, then this would be a good option for you. If you're a sought-after writer, this would be a good option. And you're seeking them mainly for exploitative services, so you can go back in the studio and keep writing. But after a while, you won't need the publisher to go shop your records for you. Now, 250,000 monthly listeners on Spotify consistently. Having a consistent fan base of 250,000 monthly listeners on Spotify is a clear indicator of your growing popularity. At this point, a publisher can help in maximizing this potential by providing the necessary professional knowledge and resources to leverage this growing audience. By doing this, a publisher helps alleviate the external problem of audience engagement and growth while resolving the internal fear of not being able to cater to and grow this audience effectively. Moreover, it adheres to the belief that your music should be heard and appreciated by as many people as possible, which is why at this point, That's why you would want to go get the publishing deal, because you need cash to further fuel the growth in your operation. And a lot of times people don't want to go get a record deal simply because they're making so much money independently. It don't make sense to do that, especially if you're independent already. So the one thing that you do want to cash out on early for, let's say, the first couple projects is your publishing. Because that way you can get cashed out projections on those. That will bring money back in to help fuel what you're doing. It's not going to take publishing from any future projects. It all depends on the deal. But in most cases, it's not. And you can do that there as long as everything is shored up and cleaned up on the publishing. No samples or samples are cleared and all of that. This will be the time to do it. If you were in the 500,000 monthly listener range on Spotify, it would be a great time to do it if you needed the money. Okay, this is only a money move at this point for this particular position. Now, cashing out on your music career, period. Finally, when you decide to cash out on your music career, a music publisher can prove to be an invaluable ally. They can ensure you get the best deals and protect your rights, providing financial stability and fair or decent compensation for your hard work. This is ultimately the equivalent of cashing out in Vegas, taking your earnings and going home. Getting into a publishing deal under these terms should only be done if you're truly done with the game or need a leg up financially based on previous albums. So I'm only going to recommend this if, like I said, you are really done. Like, hey man, I'm done. And we're going to give the exclusive rights, but we're not going to sell the rights. So it could be on a term deal, it could be an admin deal that we're going to do it on, and we're going to get some projected income from this, and we're going to give all the collections over to them, because all before this point, we were doing everything independently with the 60-day record label you see right here in the bottom right-hand corner. All right, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. Now, what if getting a publisher too early hampers my creative freedom? A good publisher values the artist's creative freedom for the most part. Their goal is to amplify your work and not control it. And publishers nowadays are not really controlling your creativity. They're mainly just acting as collectors, and they're only going to exploit what you give them. That's what they kind of turned into. Now, how can I be sure a publisher will prioritize my music as much as I do? Great question. Choose a publisher who shares your vision and passion, and it's mainly going to be the A&R that brought you in the first place. If they move from this company that you signed with to another company, you might not be able to go with them depending on the type of deal that you did. This ensures that they'll prioritize your music just as you would. But remember, you must always stay in good standing with them by creating hot music. So even if the A&R left, you still want to make sure you create great music for the publisher. You get what you negotiate in these publishing deals, I'm going to tell you. But they can be of some use if you do it right. Now, what if I get trapped in a bad deal? This is where understanding contracts and having a good legal advisor is crucial. They can help ensure that you are entering a fair and beneficial deal, and they can also tell if it makes sense, CENTS, to enter the deal at the time you're seeking if they aren't a sleazeball. That's a typo there. If they aren't a sleazeball. Now, you also have to know why you're getting in the publishing deal in the first place. Am I done with music publishing? Like, I'm looking for a cash out. Am I only looking to cash out on a few projects, and I only want this deal to be subject to those projects? Is this going to be based on the songs that I wrote, and I'm going to be in a term deal? Do I want to do all of this, right? Or am I just looking for money? If I am looking for money, is there other alternative ways I can do that before I choose the publishing option? The deal won't be bad so long as you need it, and so long it is fair that you can at some point get the rights back, or the term ends and you can get your rights back. Now, I said we were going to talk about this, and here it is. It's called the 60-Day Record Label Course. It's a framework to establish your record label in a perfect 60-day sequence. Inside of that 60-day sequence, we build out a publishing company to collect your international and your domestic royalties. Because you are by default your record label, and you are by default your very own publisher. I don't care if you're a producer putting out music or if you're an artist putting out your music. You got to have the LLC to do this with the bank account, so we're going to join those together for some base level anonymity. And then you can utilize the contracts within this course to really understand how the music game works. So therefore, you won't be getting lost in the sauce of all this. BMI, ASCAP, Sound Exchange, the MLC, Music Reports, Harry Fox Agency, Luminate, AllMusic, ISRC.com, and the music distributors are covered in this course. It's chock full of information so that you can get your game on track. You can click the link in the description below to hop in today, all right? But develop your strategy by booking a call with me. I do this all the time. I've consulted over 1,000 people. You know what I mean? So, and we going strong, baby. It is what it is. All right, now grab the free stuff below if this is your first time watching the channel. Here is your successful picture. You'll have control over where and how your music is used, and that's if you stay independent utilizing the course, the publishing course inside the 60-day record label. And then 2, you'll generate greater revenue from your music. All right, you can be assured that your music reaches its full potential if they actually work the record, and you'll feel more secure and confident in your career decisions. You'll see growth in your listener base, and that's true, and you'll achieve financial stability from your music, and that's true. But let's say you don't want to do it, but you also don't want to self-publish your music either by jumping into the 60-day record label. You'll have lost opportunities due to the lack of knowledge and representation, reduced income from your music, and limited growth in your listener base. So ultimately, this is where we want to be. All right, so you can see if you utilize these 4 timing instances right here to jump into a publishing deal, it'll be a lot better off than jumping into one early on in the process and into a situation where you actually don't need one because you're actually operating your self-published empire the way it should be. Okay, so you got to weigh those 2 options. All right, Music Money Maker. So if you make music, you should always make money. Log on to musicmoneymakeover.com. Jump into the 60-day record label course today so you can set up that self-publishing published company. Book a call on musicmoneymakeover.com. Download the free stuff right down below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.